Oh, general public comment. Anybody for general public comment?
Happy New Year, Town Board. My name is Michael O'Brien, and I've lived at 1432 Clove Valley Road since 1999. I'm here to talk about transparency and the function of our government as an instrument of the people. The government is not an institution whereby individuals can utilize their positions or friendships to circumvent the law. In the wake of the Fred Knapp scandal, individual citizens stepping up to point out impropriety should be embraced and not shunned. Specifically, I feel important that the public become aware of an alleged impropriety in the town clerk's office, and specifically with Ms. Rachel Rancourt. I made the board aware of the impropriety in July of 2014, anonymously, and after no replies, I made my identity known. The facts presented to the board are as follows, and they're undeniable. Ms. Rancourt lives in a residential zone in the town of Beekman. Town Code 155-22Q states that commercial vehicles, equipment, and parts shall not be stored, parked, repaired, or serviced indoors nor outdoors in the town of Beekman except in Zone C2 and I1 when a special use permit has not been issued by the planning board. Rancourt Land Clearing operated out of this residential zone for 14 years in direct violation of Town Code 155-22Q. This includes Ms. Rancourt's time in her elected office up through September 19th of 2014. Someone must have advised her at that point that I brought this to the attention of the board. Activities included large 18-wheel trailer truck cabs operating on a daily basis in and out of the address, employees reporting to work, maintenance of the semi-truck, other commercial vehicles belonging to Rancourt Land Clearing, sharpening of blades on loud equipment used in cutting trees, fuel deliveries, and frequent UPS deliveries. The disregard for town law became so brazen that several years ago they built a large garage designed to house the 18-wheel tractor in a residential area. During a meeting with Supervisor Zuloff, the Assistant Building Inspector, and Mr. Sean Beresford, the Building Inspector, we were all informed by the Building Inspector that the address listed for Rancourt Land Clearing was on Route 216, not the address where Rachel lives. On September 17th, Supervisor Zuloff acknowledged my complaint and stated that she would like to assure me that no one here in Town Hall, whether elected or appointed, is given any sort of priority with regard to their properties. No one here receives a free pass. We all follow the same rules and regulations that are enforced on others in Beekman. With regard to that final sentence of that statement, we all follow the same rules and regulations that are enforced on others in Beekman, I respectfully say that is not true. Ms. Rancourt allowed her husband's business to operate illegally from their residential address for the first couple of years of her life. She only had to move it once the impropriety was brought to the notice of the town. Supervisor Zuloff on September 17th asked for ample time to review the inquiry so that we may respond with accurate facts. Mr. Moran on September 11th wrote to me indicating that information I provided would be considered as part of their review. Up to this point, I've had no contact from them with regard to their findings. The questions are simple. A simple yes or no answer. Is the board willing to let an elected official boldly disobey town law? If not, what are the consequences? Did Ms. Rancourt lie on her disclosures about herself regarding the business address? We already know that the business address, as far as the town understood, was on Route 216, not at their address where all this activity was taking place. And just a few quick observations about my experience in this process so far. During my meeting with Supervisor Zuloff, the building inspector, I was surprised at the tone of the meeting. It wasn't one of outrage that an elected official was committing this impropriety. The first question I was asked, why did you, after 14 years, only come and report this now? And I can tell you the reason why. I'm selling my home, and the attorney for my real estate transaction asked me if there was any farms, if there was any commercial activity around my home, and that got me thinking about it. When I told him that I was told by Mr. Rancourt that our homes were in a mixed-use area, he told me that it was unusual in that area to have mixed use, and that's what got me researching this. I was then told what the definition of a commercial vehicle was in apparent defense of Ms. Rancourt's actions. I was told that a commercial vehicle is a vehicle with a weight of 10,000 pounds or more. In reality, the definition also includes the gross combination weight rating, the gross vehicle weight, or gross combination rates greater than 10,000 pounds. Regardless of this, the large semi-truck was certainly well in excess of those 10,000 pounds. The utility trucks that operate in that property on a daily basis with their towing capacity are above 10,000 pounds when that's taken into account. Mr. Beresford, during the meeting, showed me absolutely no respect. I'm 47 years of age. I've done business all throughout Asia, Europe, and Africa, as well as the United States, and I've never been treated with such disrespect in a meeting. He sat with his back to me during the entire course of the meeting. I was sitting here, he was sitting at the end of the table with his back to me the entire time. Obviously a friend of Rachel's, and he's not happy that I'm raising these questions. Ms. Rancourt had the police show up at my place of business while I was on a business trip to California. I called the office where I work and was informed 2 officers came into the building uninvited, walked up the stairs into our private office space and asked for me. When I was told about this, and I called the officer who had left a card, a detective, Kurt Twaddell, I was told that I was accused of threatening the Rancourts. Now, I'm a single father with primary custody of a 13-year-old daughter. I established and managed Applied Weather Technology in Poquay here. We're based in California, recently purchased by a company in Bergen, Norway, representing 13 different countries around the world. I brought 30 jobs into this town, scientists, software engineers, and other skilled jobs. I have an unblemished history with the law, and yet I'm approached by 2 officers, one of whom just happens to be a friend of Rachel and Pete Rancourt. Of all the police in Dutchess County, a friend of theirs shows up at my door. Clearly, if this was a real investigation, the officer would have recused himself knowing that he was a personal acquaintance of one of the people involved in the dispute. That didn't happen. Now I'm going to conclude this, and I think that the public deserves a decision on this matter. If the decision is to let the law-breaking officials go unpunished, that is something we'll have to live with in the town, at least until the next election. What I do hope happens is that we see some transparency, accountability, and justice. If the people of the town are unable to trust the elected officials, that they're not following the law, how can we be sure that they're acting on our best interest as citizens of the town? Thank you for your attention.
Just in response to your comments this evening, I do, from the very beginning and still to this day, do not think that Rachel Rancourt is using her title as town clerk to not do the right thing by her goings-on her property. This was going on well before Rachel was town clerk, when she was just a private citizen in the town raising her family with her husband. And then, you know, now she's town clerk. And again, I don't feel as though that because she's town clerk that these things are being overlooked. These were things that were beforehand, and she in no way is using her title to oversee these things. Last I spoke with you, you told me you were going to go to the Attorney General's office to further your comments with them and your concerns, and I don't know if you have done that or not, and I do believe that it was stated that you've spoken your piece to the town as you sat with Sean Beresford and I, that you would then turn your attention over to the Attorney General.
That's not true. I sent you an email that I was not going to send it to the Attorney General.
Okay, I did not receive that. Okay.
You did, and I have a copy of it. I can just resend it to you.
That's fine. Okay, thank you. Any further public comment?